What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Nathan Skills, and today we are going to be showing you the highlights from the state of the game. Yes, all the highlights from the state of the game are in this video right here. I cut it a little bit, so it was about a 35 minute stream. It's down to about 15 minutes of highlights, and they talked about a lot. They talked about the new mastery system, how they're updating the shepherd system to make it worth it, named items. They gave a little hint on what we should expect from next week's stream, because next week is all about content. But they did a lot, so let's hear what the boys at Massive had to say.
Let's start there with some of the things we've been working on as it pertains to the mastery system. If people remember, we did say that when the expeditions returned, that there would be a mastery system in place to be added to that experience. What can you tell us about the mastery system in episode 2?
So when episode 2 goes live, the expeditions will come online again, all 3 branches of them at once. They'll stick around for 2 weeks, but when people get there, if they've completed on story mode already, they're going to be able to see not only new difficulties, normal, hard, and challenge will be available, but also that there is a list of masteries. If we want to bring up that first picture, it actually kind of is helpful.
Cool. Let's take a look at that
Let's
first
take a look
one.
at it.
It's on the way. It's coming.
It's coming.
There it is.
I did that without warning. So even when you walk in, you'll be able to see, oh, here, for example, the person who is playing has done the normal mastery difficulty in 47 minutes, which is quite some time.
Yeah.
I'm getting the stink eye. It's really good. And I believe you should be able to see, it's hard to tell from where I'm looking at a monitor whether they got a bronze for that, which I think they did. Yeah, you got a bronze star. Hell yeah.
Just so you know, Trick is actually directing that at Taylor because he took these images.
But the core idea is that not only do you walk in and you find that there's essentially a set of time trials, bronze, silver, gold, you can also see that there's a modifier that is in place when a mastery is active. So it says, hey, we want you to beat this as fast as you can, but also here's something called dead drop. All of the enemies are just holding live grenades. They're holding that pin closed, and the moment their heart stops beating, they're going to drop it on the ground. That seriously changes things. It also means that red enemies particularly actually drop incendiary grenades, and all the other enemies drop fragmentation, which means that if you get swarmed by red enemies, you need to be aware of, hey, they're about to do a ton of aerial denial right where I am. So if I'm trying to hack those consoles or any of the other objectives where you got to stay next to something or protect a thing from damage, you need to kite some enemies away from stuff, or they will kill them for you. Congrats.
That's really cool, man. When I first read the dead drop description, I thought that it just meant that enemies would drop grenades and you go pick them up, you can use more grenades and that sort of thing. But it's a corpse explosion situation,
yes,
right?
It's very much a corpse explosion situation.
Again, Diablo fans will remember Neelithak's tomb. No? Anyone?
I mean, okay, wow. Nice.
Corpse explosions everywhere. That necromancer was serious business. But I love that kind of gameplay as well because it adds a level of, I don't know, fun that doesn't exist in any other mechanics that we have right now, right?
Yeah, and you get a little bit of delay. Like it doesn't just happen immediately, but you get the warning. And what's great is like you spend a lot of time like going, oh, I need to rush the guys are trying to turn on arm those bombs inside of the sewer. And you go and like, I'm going to get up to you and I'm going to melee you to death. And then you immediately regret your life choices. And you have like a second and a half to think about it or to just take a shot.
Yeah, but then your kill priorities become entirely different,
Yes.
right? You're like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to kill that guy now because he's a red bar, and usually you might leave those for later or that sort of thing. So it changes things up. That's really cool, man. We have some more images about this mastery system. So let's take a look at the second one so we can tell you what is interesting in that one. All right, here we go.
Now this gives us a really good view of the reward structure and also your personal best. I think it's always important when you're doing something like time trials to be able to show your personal best and your improvement. But you can see over here on the right, I'm gesturing with my actual hands for no reason. That yes, there's normal rewards for just completing it on normal mastery, but also once per event, you can get the bronze, silver, and gold mastery awards for each difficulty. Now to be clear, that means if you get gold, you will also get the bronze and the silver. So that gold right there where you've got 1 equipment item and 1 shade supplies, if you get that with your first try because you're magic, you will actually be getting 2 equipment items and 3 unmarked shade supplies, which are just sort of a random cache of they can be a gear item or a weapon or I think they can just be a ton of resources. There's a bunch of stuff. They're in missions and stuff too. And then those completion times there, you can see that's like 35 minutes, 45 minutes, and 60 minutes. These pictures were taken before we'd done a pass on the final numbers for those. The final numbers are in, but we may even still continue to adjust those inside of live. But generally,
we do have one more image as it
what's it
pertains
gonna be?
to the expedition. So let's take a look at that and have a bit of a chat.
I love that I've previewed all these images, and yet I remember nothing.
Yeah, like you say, we've actually seen a lot of these. So those times, even though George did manage to complete it in less than 60 minutes, good job, dude. Was it hard?
Yeah, I found it a little bit difficult.
Okay.
I was a little bit rusty, but...
So anyone that knows our buddy George will know he's pretty damn good at the game. But I think I got to say, there's going to be people that definitely beat that dude.
It's very build dependent. Like, you definitely change your strategy if you're, for example, like a high crit SMG player. You're like, oh, this is a bad idea. I'm going to try to get at greater range. It's really solid. The timer was in there. Something sort of else worth mentioning is that we've also once per event, so it's going to be open for 2 weeks right after October 15th, the moment that the update goes live. You can get the diamond back again from the treasure room sort of at the end. And every time that it opens up after that, you're able to get it it essentially resets that. So you can go back and get it one more time. So if you're farming exotic materials, this is a really good guaranteed way, essentially every 3 weeks approximately, to pick up some additional exotic materials. So just for launch, it'll be up for 2 whole weeks.
Okay.
And then after that, it will be down 2 weeks, up 1 week, down 2.
Are there any indications in the UI? Do you know
it
about
says the
when
next
it goes
time,
down and when it's coming up? Okay.
Yeah, it says up
Good to
for a certain amount of time, up until a certain amount of time, and then next available certain time.
All right.
So we've also added what golds you have on what your times on the different masteries are on the map view. So if you're inside of DC and you look at it, you can see a bit of information as well.
Cool. So just to reiterate, that means it opens on October 15th.
Yes.
Which is 2 weeks away-ish. 13 days.
Ish.
And it will close again on October 29th, and then it'll reopen on November 12th and close again on the 19th.
Yes.
So I guess the Diamondback is one of those things that if you already have it, one, you can put it on more characters, or 2, more exotic components for you.
Yeah.
Okay, there's some other things we need to talk about today. We mentioned it before that there are changes coming in episode 2 to the Shepherd system.
Yes.
But we didn't really go in depth about what that meant, or didn't have anyone here who could speak about it with any authority. But since you're here, we can do that. It's you. You did it. Let's go back. So when the Shepherd system released, some people had some, let's say usability issues.
Yeah.
That's fair to say?
Yeah,
Would you
that's
say?
fair.
What were some of the things that you wanted to remedy in the iteration for episode 2?
Strongest.
Sure.
So the way that it works now is that you get, essentially, everybody can get 2 endorsements from 1 trip through the Shepherd system.
Okay, so can we just go through the user flow? Because I think this has been where a lot of the confusion is.
Do it.
Myself included. So I'm looking for help. I'm in game and I'm like, someone help me.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, you do that. Right. We do an activity.
And the entire time that as we gain experience from the activity and as we complete activities, I see a little blue bar filling up in the top.
Okay.
That is my Shepherd XP. Okay. That is per session. Because I've come to help you, it starts over from the start, essentially, and it begins to fill up.
Okay, what happens when it fills up?
When it fills up all the way, I immediately get an endorsement, because the game has told me that I am good.
Nice. We didn't have that before.
We didn't have that before. That's new.
All right.
And you get a little pop-up that's going to appear next to your character that says, like Shepherd endorsement available or endorse player. I can't remember what the exact message is.
But I can say, yeah, that was cool.
You can say, yeah, that was cool.
All right.
I think you can also dismiss it by holding down.
But you don't get a retraction.
There is not. There's not a no.
No, you're the worst.
Yeah. Oh, you're the worst.
Okay. So let's say we had a good time. You get a double endorsement.
I get a double endorsement. Cool.
You get Shepherd XP.
I get endorsements from that.
Okay, this is where it gets confusing.
And that's where it gets confusing. If I get 15 endorsements, if I'm at Shepherd level 0, I'm at Shepherd level 1. I now qualify for getting the rewards when the Shepherd season ends, which will come out for the first time with this next update.
Wow, dramatic.
How dramatic. I don't think it was dramatic with this mic.
So that's where the confusion, I think, has at least been for me.
Yeah.
I would assume some other people are there. Because Shepherd XP and Shepherd Rank are different things.
Yeah, Shepherd XP, endorsements, and Shepherd Rank are 3 different things that are related, sort of in that exact hierarchy.
Because there was a situation that we had in the previous version where you would be playing together and then you wouldn't hit a certain level of Shepherd XP to get to the level of endorsement. Like that endorsement event wouldn't happen, and then
you leave.
And you would leave, and that XP doesn't exist anymore.
Correct, and it's just gone, and that continues to be the case. If you don't fill up the bar, that's still true. However, the ideal is that you spend approximately 10 minutes playing with somebody. Like,
okay, so 10 minutes to get to an endorsement is the target.
That's the target, approximately.
That seems fair.
If you guys are going really super fast or whatever, like, or if you're completing a bunch of small events, or you do, honestly, I think bounties are a really fast way to get it, probably.
Okay.
You can speed that up a bit, but the core concept is we don't want people to just fly in and have like 10% of an XP bar left to do. They shoot a couple of dudes and then leave.
Yeah, true.
And so we want to make certain that people stick around and are like, hey, I'm your buddy for the next 10 minutes.
Episode 2, there are 2 new invaded missions.
Yes.
What can you tell us about those?
Oh my God, what's the real name? The Manning National Zoo is now an invadable stronghold. Also, it's a stronghold now. You may have noticed that it's a really long mission. We just decided to say it is officially a stronghold. So it now has stronghold rewards. It's got its rewards buffed at the end, but also it can be the stronghold for an invasion. In addition to that, Camp White Oak can be invaded, which is great because that means the Black Tusk is invading Black Tusk.
That's cool.
It actually does make narrative sense. You can watch the when you play the mission, it makes sense, and it's also on the edge of hilarious.
There is something that no one has found. I'm going to say that now. I was as surprised as anyone. I was like, I didn't know about this. So developers have been putting secret stuff in the game with, keeping it very secret even from us.
What was crazy is like when I realized that, I was like, oh, I wonder if anybody's found this. And I was just Googling around and putting in certain search terms. Remains quiet. And I was just like, I don't find a video guide for finding this dude. There's just nothing. So I feel really strange that we're doing, hey, here's a bunch of new bosses here inside of Manning National Zoo, when people haven't even found all of the bosses in Manning National Zoo.
There you go. I don't want to. I think it's okay to give maybe a small tip, but not too much.
Yeah.
One, there's no interactable thing that would highlight this.
Correct.
I mean, there's no like UI interaction that pops up.
Yeah, not
right.
Yeah, not until you've done it. Essentially, yeah.
Yeah. Once you do some things, you will find an interact, which will spawn a boss.
Who's a jerk.
Who's a jerk, and has some serious weaponry.
Yes.
It's a little Easter egg. There aren't unique rewards for it, but I still want to see people find it.
Yeah. And it's there. I tested it. I played it today just to make certain. I was just like, okay, I'm going to hop on live. I'm going to take my live character. And there, man, it takes a while to find him. But
it's true.
Yeah, it's something. But the only other tip I will give is, if you find yourself in one of our levels and you have about like a football field's length in which you are doing nothing, you should probably look around.
Okay. I think that we should leave it there.
Yeah,
named items. So we've talked about these a couple of times.
Okay, good. I was like, please tell me I'm not breaking the news of
No,
the existence of
we
these named items.
We've hammered it home, but I wanted to talk to you today about some of the ways that they're being rewarded. So the first time you complete Tidal Basin during an invasion now guarantees a named item?
Yes, regardless of difficulty, you get all the way to Tidal Basin. The rewards of that mission are going to give you one of the pool of named items that are available in the Light Zone.
Okay, first time you complete a heroic mission in an invasion, you get a guaranteed named item reward?
Correct.
Cool. And there's not one big pool, but there are big pools.
They're big pools, okay. Yeah, because there are some that are restricted to
the Dark Zone,
right. And some that are restricted to the Light Zone, and then there's a common pool.
In addition,
I understand, right? That's literally not my job.
Okay, yeah. In addition, heroic bosses now have an increased chance of their bonus item drop, but now that drop can be either an exotic you already have, that's important, or a named item.
Yes, so people already know for farming exotics that you can kill the bosses of heroic missions only at final boss, and it can drop the exotic item. We bumped up the chances of that happening, but there's also, it will choose either from the pool of exotics that you already have, or it will roll a different die and get you one of the
reliable
exotic materials. And those named items have rolls on them, and so you can have sort of a better one or a worse one. Like I really like a lot of them.
Nice. Named items also drop at a very low chance from all enemies, and I love this because you can kind of have that like, pardon my French, holy shit moment. You know, where you're like you're like grinding red mobs and like boom, named item. That's cool.
Yeah, it's super good, and like it means that you can, if you like doing tier 4 control points, the chances of them going up, the chances of them dropping go up with difficulty. Although I think technically it's just attached to the veterancy of the enemies. I can't remember. But it's like you can get them from bounties, you can get them from control points, you can get them from any kind of content.
Cool.
It's I'm not kidding, a very small chance.
Yeah, but it's still, you know, those moments will happen. So next week, we're gonna wrap things up today. Next week we have a really, I would say, juicy stream about what's coming in episode 2. So I'm working on with the team getting some possibly, this might be a spoiler and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but possibly some live gameplay demonstration of the new specialization. Just going to say it, we're working on it, we'll see what we can do. But the new specialization, the missions, we're going to be talking Pentagon, we're going to be talking narrative stuff. So a lot of episode 2 content news coming next week, so make sure you come back for that. Thanks again, Trick.
Thank you. I love the show.